Hi, I'm Rob Patz,
And I'm Kristen Stanton.
and this is a very special edition of the Rob and Kristen Show. And here we are on a very special edition, an Independence edition of
Yes.
of the Rob and Kristen slash Rob and Kristen live slash something else. So we're gonna do a very special edition, and this may end up on Abundant TV, different than the normal um Rob and Kristen live. And if you're watching this on Abundant TV, if it makes it there, we usually every week do a live, and we call it Rob and Kristen live.
On
And we do it.
Facebook and YouTube.
Yep. And we have a blast doing it, a lot of fun. But we thought that this night would be a good night to talk about the upcoming 4th of July, Independence Day.
Thank you so much for joining in and watching us. And hey, if you are watching this on Abundant TV on Independence Day, know that we recorded this earlier. And so you're going to hear us probably say hi to people throughout the broadcast. But we are going to do a very special top 5 tonight. And for those of you who normally just tune in on Facebook or YouTube Live, well, you're going to get a little taste of what the beginning of all of the Rob and Kristen show is all about by doing the top 5.
And we have some neat stuff to talk about. You ready?
I am ready.
Because we got 5 things we think you should know. And definitely the 4th of July edition of this. And these are 5 things that we think you should know in no particular order. These are randomly selected by Kristen and I. There is no order. It doesn't mean that this one's number 1 and that one isn't. It just means that we picked them out in this order. And my pick for number 1, because I had to do the first one, is 4th of July barbecue. Now, here's the thing.
Surprise, surprise.
It's food, yes. No, to me, that's part of like the holiday. And it now it isn't always hot dogs, but a lot of times hot dogs or hamburgers. We did a few years ago, did a pork roast on there. And I know Kristen doesn't eat meat, so she's looking at me. But we did. My family did. We had a lot of fun with that. It was interesting. And we did that, and I enjoyed that time. And of course, we do barbecues, hamburgers, hot dogs, everything. You know what though? That I think is kind of interesting, and I've been rocking back and forth because I've had a whole bunch of sugar like in the last hour and some caffeine on top of it. So I just noticed myself in the camera like doing like this, and I'm very sorry. I will try to hold still. But that leads me to the last thing on my list, and that's apple pie and ice cream. You gotta have apple pie and ice cream for 4th of July, don't you think?
Well, I think cherry pie. Yeah, cherry pie. It's red.
No.
Red, white, and blue. You have a slice of cherry pie
No.
with the filling that's red, you put it on a blue plate, and then you put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the top. I mean, how much more patriotic can you get than that?
No.
How
It's
about
apple
watermelon?
pie. You know the
Watermelon's red.
commercials? Apple pie Chevrolet in the
Uh-huh.
USA. Remember those?
Yeah.
Or am I dating myself?
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie,
Apple
and
pie and Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
Yes. Should make your dad proud. He's a GM guy.
Yes.
We got to plug in for GM there. Uh,
No, but what do you normally have at a barbecue? If you're celebrating a 4th of July barbecue, what do you normally have? Baked beans?
yes.
Chips?
Yes.
Oh, we always have watermelon.
Yeah, we did too, but I'm not a huge watermelon fan. So I know there was there, but
Well,
I
that's what
never
I'm
ate it.
asking you. What did you normally have at your 4th of
Well,
July?
we had that. We had a lot too of uh, my mom was big into fresh fruit, so we always had like a fruit boat, like where they would carve the watermelon out and then
Mhm.
put like all kinds of fruit inside it. And yeah,
Well, that would be fun, especially if you created a like, a fruit salad. I don't know about carving out a watermelon, but if you could create a fruit salad with, like, blueberries and raspberries and watermelon and strawberries, just things that are red, white, and blue. Put some whipped cream on it.
seems like so much work, doesn't it?
No? It sounds like it's fun.
I don't
So
know.
did you ever play any games at your 4th of July
We played some reindeer
picnic?
games.
Reindeer games.
We were lawn darts, which are dangerous. I mean, you think about that, the lawn darts. I don't know if anybody else ever played lawn darts, but we played lawn darts a lot. That was one of the big things that we did. We also were into croquet
Oh, we played croquet.
and badminton.
Cornhole?
No, no. See, I really didn't know about cornhole until I went down south. We didn't play cornhole. We
Well
played, darts, lawn darts, and stuff like that, but not.
well, we didn't play cornhole growing up, but my brother brings cornhole whenever we have family get-togethers, so I still don't play, but it's
I
there.
do. I play.
Yes,
I,
I know.
I love playing. I wish I'd gotten into cornhole a lot earlier. I'd have been a part of the pro league by now.
Uh-huh.
Totally. Mhm.
Okay.
And we did frisbee. My family was big into frisbee. And so frisbee was huge. In fact, I have weighted frisbees, for different things, heavier wind, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I love frisbee. Doesn't
So
always
did
love me though, because I've gotten hit a few times.
so have you ever had any unexpected visitors to your 4th of July? I mean, you did live out in, Washington State, and wildlife there is abundant.
It is, but mostly seagulls.
Oh,
Seagulls were and some squirrels. But a lot of times when we would celebrate, we celebrated at one of the parks, whether it was Alki or someplace in Seattle or in town in our little town. Um, uh, I can't think of. Wow, I've been gone for 2 years and I can't think of the park. I know Zwanich, but I can't remember the other one. And Zwanich was fairly new, so I don't, as a kid, never went there. I can't remember the other one. Isn't that just ridiculous? And I don't know. Everybody's left us on Facebook. I think they're gone.
well, it's late.
I know, but man. So anyway, so that's number one. So what's number two?
Well, one of the things that I thought was really interesting, that when we were talking about celebrating Independence Day, is the fact that the Liberty Bell is rung 13 times every single year. And it's rung by the descendants of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. So I thought that was really neat. And I know that, you and I had talked about, well, how do they determine which of the descendants get to participate in the ringing of the bell? I mean, because I think that would be cool, and if I were a descendant of one of the signers, I would be up there saying, "When do I get to sign up for next year? Because I want to do this."
I mean, you think of the history and how long that's been, and still descendants are doing it. I just think it's cool. And of course, Kristen and I both love history. And so that's kind of our thing. So we love that kind of stuff and we want to go see it.
Oh, yes, I've been to see, the Liberty Bell before. I've seen all of the stuff in Philadelphia that has to do with our nation's history, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. Just an absolutely phenomenal thing. So
Hey, Sandra Boyd is here. And
hi,
for you that are
Sandra.
watching this on TV and you're going, "Where are they?" They are not make believe friends of mine. They are people that are with us on our live feed on YouTube and Facebook tonight. So if you're watching this on Abundant TV, I'm not normally, saying hello to people
Just randomly.
just randomly, just out of nowhere. But you think about the whole Liberty Bell and that whole situation, and
Mhm.
it's really interesting. Like if you were a family, how do you decide which brother or sister gets to ring the bell?
I don't know. I don't know. I wonder how many family fights there have been throughout the years over just that. I want to be the one to represent our family to ring the bell.
I mean, it's a complete honor. I mean, and it's cool to go up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be I would think there has been some friction over the years. I'm
Mhm.
just saying.
Mhm. I would think so too. But I just thought that was super interesting that they do that every single year.
It's just and here's the interesting thing out of that. And we were out tonight before this, and and I thought of this is I know I never learned that in school.
I didn't either.
And I don't know why they didn't teach us that. I think it's such a cool honoring that legacy moment.
Mhm. I would agree with you.
I think that's cool. By the way, for just tuning in, these are 5 things we think you should know 4th of July edition. Things that we think you should know. We started off with barbecue, which because I thought that was important, food related. Kristen, of course, being much smarter, went for something interesting like the relatives uh, ringing the Liberty Bell. And I think this is interesting. By the way, if you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, please share this with your friends and family. And number 3 for me, and I made this comment. Where did I make this comment? Was it on our Facebook Live earlier that I talked about fireworks and M80s?
I don't know.
I made this comment somewhere that, and of course, number 3 is fireworks, by the way. And I don't think 4th of July is 4th of July without fireworks. And especially as a kid, we used to get M80s in like this pack. My dad would go and they'd be in a red package. Okay. And so we would get these packages of M80s, which if I don't know if Kristen knows what an M80 is.
I have no
M80,
idea.
it looks like a little tiny piece of TNT, and
Okay.
it's got a fuse off it, and you can light it, and it
Mhm.
makes quite the racket.
Mhm. That sounds like something that you would have liked.
I loved them. And so what we would do, and in the old days, coffee cans used to be made out of metal. So I would get a coffee can. My dad would help me, so I was not unsupervised. Of course, my mother would disagree with that. But I wasn't unsupervised. I had my dad there, and we would light them single and then throw them into the coffee can, creating a cannon-like sound. Now, when I did this, I lived in a mountainous area. So when the M80 would go off in the coffee can, it would reverberate throughout the valley and throughout the mountains and mountains. So it was the coolest thing in the world. But also, I love going to fireworks. Of course, being from Seattle, fireworks off the Space Needle are incredible. If you haven't experienced it, you should. It's like a once in a lifetime because actually the fireworks are below you, and it's just kind of a really cool experience. Um, but I love also small town fireworks and just the watching as a group of people and usually firework technicians, and they do these for the small towns and they're just awesome, and they just I don't know, I love 4th of July and I love fireworks.
Well, we have our fireworks here over the river,
Yes.
and, I remember going to watch the fireworks when we were kids, and I think I told you this before, that the only thing I really remember about the fireworks, and I'm sure that I probably thought they were neat when I was a kid, and fireworks are neat, but the only thing I really remember is feeling like I would get eaten alive by mosquitoes, because 'cause we're there sitting on the grass and, it's right by the water, and it's by the rivers, and so seems like mosquitoes are everywhere. Um, but I think that the fireworks definitely are one way probably most Americans celebrate Independence Day. But, one of the earliest, I guess you could consider it, fireworks were, what happened in Philadelphia in 1777.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like the
The
year after.
yeah. Well, tell everybody what happened,
Well, in
or I will.
I do. I have it here. 1776. A warship off the coast fired 13 gun salute, which I think is cool, and to honor the independence of the 13 states, obviously, and soldiers paraded down the streets to also celebrate the first Independence Day.
So you think about that, you had the guns going off. You had the soldiers parading, you had the Continental Congress shutting down, you had people celebrating with bonfires in their own. I don't know how they had fireworks back then, but some kind of makeshift fireworks of some kind, and they were celebrating. So it was really has always been part of our nation's history in some way, shape, or form to celebrate the Independence Day with some kind of explosion, I guess. That's, with fireworks or the gun
Did your mom
salutes
and dad
or
let you guys shoot off fireworks?
oh no,
Not even sparklers?
oh no.
Hmm.
I don't remember having an interest in that though.
You think Doug and Jeff did though?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
I will, because that's I thought every family had that. I guess that's surprising to me.
No, we didn't do it, at least not that I could ever remember. Like,
By the way, for just tuning in, this is a special edition of the Rob and Kristen show. We are doing 5 things we think you should know for the 4th of July. And
and
we're
we are on number 4.
yes. But by the way, I want everyone to realize there's no scientific order to these.
And hey, you know what? There's so many things and so many ways that you could celebrate Independence Day. There might be some interesting facts that you know about Independence Day that you want to share with us. We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
So, but
Comment.
as normal, the top 5, anytime we do the top 5, that's why we say it's the top 5 things we think you should know. Hey, Destiny.
Destiny Arbor, who, by the way, has a show here on Abundant TV, does a great job. Destiny X. And Destiny just got on our Facebook feed. We saw her there. And so if you're watching on Abundant TV and you hear us talking to people, realize that we're seeing them. It's not that we're making them up in our head.
So, number 4 in our top 5 things that we think you should know about celebrating Independence Day is that there was a question of which day Independence Day actually should be. Should it be July 2nd, when the original draft of the Declaration of Independence was written? Or should it be July 4th, when the final draft was written and ratified? Now, traditionally, we celebrate on July 4th because that was the date that it was ratified, and the final draft was approved, it was ratified, and that is the day that we celebrate. But John Adams, he on July 2nd, he was, hey, July 2nd is Independence Day. That was the day that we drafted our letter of independence, our intent to declare our independence from Great Britain. And so at this point in time, he decided, I am not celebrating Independence Day on July 4th because it is not July 4th, and he absolutely refused to celebrate on July 4th. Interestingly enough, though, he wrote home to his wife and he said, "This is an event that should be celebrated with pomp and circumstance," which is really what we do here in the United States for Independence Day. We celebrate with pomp and circumstance just about everywhere. And but he refused to celebrate on the 4th of July. I thought that was really interesting.
Interesting. You told me too that he wrote home to his wife on about July 2nd, but that's because he felt that it started on the day that they wrote the draft.
Right.
And I mean I, I don't know. Maybe I can agree with him. I'm not sure. I don't I I don't know. If
Well,
I'd been
maybe
there.
maybe some people should make the argument that it should be July 8th.
Well, and that's actually where I was going to go with this, because this is kind of interesting, because really July 2nd is when they started the draft. July 4th is when they all signed it. But interestingly enough, and this is kind of, I found this to be another one of those things. I may have learned this. I was trying to think if I learned this in American history or not. That on July 8th in 17 said the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence was done in Philadelphia in Independence Square. Talk about painting a picture. These guys
Mhm.
really knew what they were doing. It may have been before social media, but these guys had a really good idea on how to paint a picture there with Independence Square. And it was the first time, and they rang the bells. They had band music. It was really literally the first 4th of July celebration, but they celebrated on July 8th. And do you wonder? I know. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I thought of this before and I was going to ask you when we got in here. So that's why I didn't ask you ahead of time. As a lawyer, technically, would the 8th of July be because that's when the public knew?
Oh, that's a really good question. No, I think that it was when it was signed. It becomes effective when it is signed, not effective when everybody knows. So, no, I would agree that it should be July 4th. July 2nd, I think is the commemorative, hey, this is what we think because this is when we really decided we were going to become independent.
Yes.
Yes,
I don't know.
Destiny, I agree. Signed, sealed, delivered July 4th.
I don't know. I mean, I see where John Adams is going, though. I mean, because that was when, a lot of times when we say something started, it's when we came up with the idea. It isn't always when we
Right?
make it
So
public.
so when do we celebrate Abundant TV?
May 5th,
May 5th, but that's
but
not
we
when we started,
we signed the paperwork
in January.
January 7th, I believe it was.
Uh-huh.
It took that long. People, there, and this is off topic of tonight, but people will go, "Oh, well, that's just easy. You just throw it on." It took us that long to develop the apps the way we wanted them and everything else. But yes, okay, so I agree with you. I'll go with it.
No, it's just it's different, but I completely understand. You can make the argument from any perspective if you really wanted to. July 2nd, July 4th, July 8th, you pick, but it's a nationally recognized holiday on July 4th. Hey, you know what? I'm all for celebrating the whole week.
Yes, I think we
Even though
should.
I even though I have to work the whole week.
Yes, I'm off. Kristen's not. I go back the 5th, so I'm feeling good about myself. But our in our little town, we're actually having fireworks on July 7th. So
Because it's a Friday.
because it's a Friday. Do you ever though? Okay, another question then. Do you ever get like overdose, like you're done with that whole fireworks thing? Like,
Um,
okay, this is done. Is it kind of like Christmas? Do you get to like January and
I
go, I'm done?
is that really a question you wanna
No.
ask in comparison to me? Christmas asking me about do I ever get tired of Christmas? No,
Okay,
I
how about
love the I
Thanksgiving?
well, yeah.
Like, are you
I
tired of leftovers?
I don't know. I think you eat all of the leftovers, so I don't really think I get any.
You get the stuff I don't like.
Did you hear that? I get the stuff he doesn't like.
She eats all the good for you stuff that comes out of Thanksgiving, and I eat all the gravy and the, stuffing. I think the first time when after we got married, our first Thanksgiving, I think shocked her when I just went into the kitchen and poured gravy on top of the stuffing and just sat there and ate the stuffing.
Uh-huh. Destiny said their fireworks are tomorrow, so it'd be July 1st.
Canada Day.
July 1st. Well, it's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday.
That makes a lot more sense. And
Yeah.
don't come at me if you're from Defiance, Ohio. Please.
Well, Defiance used to have the fireworks on July 3rd, which to me, it made a lot of sense because they would shoot the fireworks off on July 3rd. Everybody would have their little barbecues and picnics July 4th because nobody was working and other events. And then everybody go back to work on July 5th. And this
You
year
know,
they
you
decided,
keep saying this about everybody having the 4th of July off. When I worked in radio, ladies and gentlemen, and in TV, I never had the 4th of July off. I don't even know what that was like.
well, you still don't know what it's like because you're going to be working on 4th of July, even though you're not working on 4th of July.
Oh, they'll definitely, yes, definitely the case. Um, but no, I think that's interesting, and so those are the 5 things we think you should know.